Spoilers and offensive content to come.
This is Carlos and David Amiriev. We are watching Steven Universe. The episode, Tiger Philanthropist. This is our review.
Let's jump right in and see if it can make up for an okay episode last week.
Okay, look, there was a point to it. There definitely was a point to it. It's just, I hate Ronaldo so much is all. Yeah, I get the point. He's a shitbird. He tried to do good and he fucked that up. So he tried to do good again and he fucked that up too. He's a real fuck up. I get it. But I mean, fuck that.
You know, I've always wondered, can Connie just take that sword willy-nilly on the bus to come visit Steven?
Like I said, people in this world, they get it. Weird shit happens. Girl with a giant sword, probably defending the planet. You know, I was talking last time about how the Ronaldo episode was there to just make me appreciate Lars more. And I gotta tell you, yeah, Lars looks just way better in comparison to Ronaldo. Like, fuck Lars, he's a fucking douchey, jerky idiot jackass. But I would rather have many Larses than one Ronaldo.
I just love how they're making fun of wrestling fans right now. 7 feet tall, eh? Come on.
Like, Tiger Billionaire is clearly Steven. Like, here's the thing.
Isn't even a Clark Kent Superman thing.
I was going to mention the Clark Kent Superman thing. Honestly, I kind of see why people are fooled by it, because Clark Kent has a generic kind of look. And really, it's more about the presentation in that case. Someone like Serena Sailor Moon is a little harder to believe because she looks exactly the same and acts exactly the same. And Tiger Millionaire looks exactly like Steven Universe wearing a little mask and acts exactly like Steven Universe. So how is he fooling anyone? He didn't fool Sadie. Sadie knows full well Steven is Tiger.
Uh-huh.
I like that episode as a wrestling fan. I like that... even though I've temporarily given up on paying for any WWE-related stuff because I can't abide by their Trump support, the fact is there's a lot of good wrestling out there. And this is a nice episode about kind of snarky wrestling fans who don't know what the fuck they want. And in a way, kind of like with Ronaldo, they used Lars to make a point about a shitty type of person. That said, this was infinitely more enjoyable just because there was pro wrestling involved and a little bit of action, even if it was... semi-fake pro wrestling. I don't know how it works in Beach City, but
it looked like they were showing some scuff marks and everything else. But then again, real wrestling, quote unquote, does the whole cutting, your eyebrow for blood and stuff like that. So, and I mean, stuff does go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Cactus Jack through the cage.
Yeah.
Onto all those tacks.
Mankind taking thumbtacks for our amusement.
God.
I really like that episode though. I like the Stephen Amethyst Bond. I have for a while, and I really liked I really like Smoky Quartz and just Stephen Amethyst hanging out, and this was a good episode for that. It was good to show us that Amethyst has kind of moved on, but. In a way, it was a good wrestling message. There's a lot of wrestlers who forget that, really, when they want to go out, they should put someone else over, let someone else carry the reins in the perpetual act 2 that is pro wrestling, right?
Yeah, don't just throw down the mic and walk out. Actually, do it with style.
Let someone prop someone else up, go out with a bang, give the fans your final goodbye, and then gracefully move on, I like this episode. It was a lot of fun.
It was a good episode. I don't hate Ronaldo as much as you do, but last week's episode was kind of a waste to me. So this week, focusing not on the larger storyline, but just a little piece of its history, it's just fine.
And I mean, look, I think Lars works at his best when he is this anthropomorphic representation of kind of shitty traits. But he was still actually fairly funny in this episode. It's like, I'm a complex teenage boy! Stop being so invested in my will interest!
A lot of wrestling...
That was legit funny.
A lot of wrestling fans don't know what they want from 1 minute to the next.
Yeah.
I mean...
As a listener of wrestling podcasts, I can attest to this.
It's just one moment... Your favorite character is a heel, the next they're a good guy. All of a sudden, they're not as popular anymore because they're not doing all their bad guy shenanigans. Like, let's face it, Triple H would suck as a good guy.
He's had runs as a face,
and yet
but they're never long. No, he's okay. It's just he can't be that for long because he's just naturally a heel. He's naturally he's good at it. He's good at being an asshole.
I mean, The Rock was the exact opposite. The moment they gave him the spotlight as a good guy, going bad guy just felt wrong.
Like, they even tried that. I remember when he was first coming out as a face, and then he did a sudden heel turn.
Yeah.
People cheered him anyway, so they just kind of quietly made him a face again.
Like, I loved back then when it was the Rock and Suck connection. Because the Rock, in character, hated it. But yet respected Foley so much. So it's just, there are certain characters that just don't make good bad guys or even good guys. It's just it's their character, and when all of a sudden you're like, oh well, that person would make a great heel. No, they didn't.
There is something to say though about giving people chances to do it.
Sure.
Like, sometimes you get these people who they've been a face or heel all their life, and then they go face or heel, they switch, and it turns out that they're actually really awesome at it. Like, it turns out that Hulk Hogan, as much as I don't want to prop him up because he's a racist and a bit of a shithead, but the fact is when Hulk Hogan went heel, he was kind of a tired commodity. Everyone knew he was face Hogan, whatever. He goes heel, and the NWO storyline was one of the most popular and dominant storylines in wrestling. It was the reason WCW almost kind of beat WWE at one point, was because a character who's traditionally faced his whole life telling kids to eat their vitamins and drink their school and always go to milk. He suddenly became a villain, you know, but I get your point. And the point is what Tiger Millionaire represented to people was a bit of a lovable asshole.
Yes.
And to suddenly just switch on that, you know, I kind of get Lars's frustration. And then Tiger Millionaire shows signs of being his old self, and then he's gone, and Lars is like, no, he was just getting good.
Oh, and that's just it, is the worst thing is when people switch at the flip of a dime. Mm-hmm. You should never flip faster than Anakin did in Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you do that, much like Star Wars, it was bad writing.
Well, I actually don't always agree with that. I think that can sometimes work for shock value. Like when the Shield, when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, it was sudden. It happened in an instant on Raw, where he turned on them and then joined Triple H and Randy Orton. And people were stunned because the Shield had been a dominant, powerful group for a long time, recently had a great face run, and Seth Rollins was the last person anyone thought was going to do that. Because both Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, they seemed like the more asshole characters. They have good face runs right now. But it was actually the baby face Seth Rollins that ended up being a prick, and he's good at that. Like,
sure, but
and it was
most people can't pull that off.
Sure. I think...
And, like, you have characters in the WWE that are like a elemental force. You got your Kanes, your Undertakers, where really you don't call them a face or a heel at any one time. It's just the fucking Undertaker or it's Bloody Kane. What they do is they come in and they wreck stuff.
These days, Brock Lesnar is that. Brock Lesnar is just a force. Like, he'll get cheered or he'll get booed. Usually cheered.
And that's just it. You can have characters where they are just meant to be a wrecking ball of everybody else. Mm-hmm. Even the Big Show. At times was that. But he still went between heel and face a lot.
He still does. He still leaps back and forth between heel and face. Fan favorite,
and
fan hated.
That doesn't make a good elemental force. If you're gonna be that force, it's just no heel, no face. You either come into the ring, beat the living crap at anything that moves, and move on.
It's kind of like when we were kids and wrestling was more marketed towards kids. Mm-hmm. And when The Undertaker come out, people didn't boo. Oh, he was a heel. People didn't boo. People just stared.
Yeah.
They were in awe of this enormous giant who could tightrope walk on the top rope and do fucking little guy things too. Like,
yeah.
But point taken, we're talking a lot about actual wrestling compared to Steven Universe's take on it. But it's still a good message. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed this.
So let's hope they do more of this and less of Rock Naga.
Well, Tiger Philanthropist, a couple years ago, there was a big leaked list of episodes. It included things like Last One Out of Beach City, stuff that I thought was going to be a season 2 finale, that kind of thing. Turned out to be an awesome gay lesbian Pearl episode. But the Tiger Philanthropist was like the very last title on that giant leaked list. So it's no longer clear from here on out what the titles are, except we know the next two. The next two, next week is Room for Ruby. And then 2 weeks after that, I think they're skipping a week, don't quote me on that, is Lion 4 Alternate Ending. Lion 4 is one of those episodes that it's probably going to be kind of fluffy, but it could be huge.
We'll wait and see, as is obvious.
Room for Ruby could be as well. They could be talking about one of the rubies from space, who they did not pick up.
Could they actually get one of the rubies to join them? Or are they literally talking the room for
the ruby who comprises Garnet?
Yeah. Because it's obvious they each have their own rooms as their individual.
Oh, that's probably it. It's probably just showing, because we know Garnet's room, but we haven't seen Ruby or Sapphire's room, and every gem has a room in the temple that exists when they do, right? So,
though Steven still doesn't have his own room.
It's
Rose's room that he ends up.
This is why I don't think Rose is dead.
Well, I think that's obvious already, but I don't think we'll ever see Rose back.
We may not, but at the same time, I think that
Rose really isn't dead because she's part of him.
That room is a big clue that it's still her room, basically.
Yeah.
Because we have stuff like, we have people like Sardonyx have their own room when they exist, and this should be a really seldomly used room, right? I want to see Smokey Quartz's room. Daniel, you know what room I want to see most of all?
The Carlson Dave Anime Rave room at animerave.xyz.
You got it, girlfriend.
What's the color of that room?
The color of that room is that we are the best anime review show on the internet. It's pink right now because that's kind of the design choice I'm going with. I'd like to make it somehow do a random color scheme every time you go, but that seems like a lot of work for a blogger site.
Tune in next time, everybody, and we'll see you next episode.